on post-conflict, because we believe it is very important. And as the statement of our delegation this morning, we said with needs of women in post-conflict situations met, the whole circle of efforts to protect women and children from preventing the war, preventing conflict, ending conflict, to development. Now the cycle can complete. You mentioned a word, which is exactly the word Ambassador Kamal mentioned earlier, which, I'm sorry, I do not agree with. You said, forget the war. You said, forget the war. We don't forget the war. If we forgot the war, then the bad thing about enjoying peace so easily can happen. Let me quote a comment by late British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. He said, if we open a quarrel between the past and the present, we shall find that we have lost the future. Let me quote you another sentence by Karl Marx, because we are a socialist country.
So are we.
Karl Marx said, if you shoot at the past with a pistol, the future will shoot at you with an artillery. So, we remember the past, but the most important thing about the remembrance of the past is not to keep the past as something to be bitter about. And when I talk about the forgiving nature of the Vietnamese people, I would say that it is on the basis of the past we can have the future. We treasure the future. We look forward to the future. We learn from the bitter lessons of the past in order to avoid it. And also to contribute to others, to help others to avoid it. I don't know if I have answered your question.
The next question down in front here.
Hello, my name is Anthony Mell. I'm here with the Global Scholars Program. Concerning your upcoming role as the President of the UN Security Council, how will your personal philosophy of no country can win a war in another country, regardless of power or size, and your experience of being from a victimized country affect your policy in a world where countries are doing precisely that?
Well, that's a huge question. Actually, because in order to answer that, I need to quote first the foreign policy of our country, and then the practices we have done, and also the strategy in the future. But in short, as I said, peace and war are always the two issues, or actually two parts of an issue in our mind when we become a member of the Security Council. Because without that, development, for example, underdevelopment, development, or overdevelopment would be issues of the General Assembly. So the Security Council only works on issues related to security. And to be more exactly, traditional security. Because today we have many non-traditional securities like climate change. But these issues are considered as more of development nature than traditional security. And therefore, as a member of the Council and as upcoming President of the Council in several hours, again, actually last year in July, we were serving once already as the President of the Council, now the second time, we will continue to concentrate on conflict areas with our efforts and determination to contribute to solving conflicts and also to contributing to post-conflict recovery and development, which is in our view, part of comprehensive approach to solve the war, to end the war, and to ensure sustainable peace and development. Our approach is always comprehensive.
We have time for 2 more short questions. Can I see hands? Yes, and the last row.
Yes, hi. I'm Richard Panicucci. I'm the assistant provost here at the Metropolitan Campus. I'd like to move in a little bit of a different direction. Over the past 50 years, the United States manufacturing sector, in its quest for inexpensive labor, has moved from Mexico to Japan to India, now China. Do you see Vietnam as possibly the new frontier for American manufacturing?
Well, new frontier, a little bit too big for what is in our policy, in our mind. First of all, investors, business people, only come to where they would get profit. They are not doing charity. They're different. So when you decide to become a venue for business people, for investors, you need to be ready to be exploited, in a sense, in exchange for money, for gains of development. By the way, I have heard many criticisms about the business open door policy of Vietnam for foreign investors to come to exploit the Vietnamese labor, to make money on the Vietnamese sweat and labor and so on and so forth. Well, I believe nothing comes for free. That's the cost of development. As a poor country, now, without foreign investment, without foreign business working in Vietnam, getting a lot of money from Vietnam, how can we become a country, as I said, first producer of something, second exporter of something, after 20 years being net importer of rice, of food? I believe Vietnam is a good place for business people, including American people. It is also a good place for tourists. I don't know if you learn about that, but the World Travel Organization has ranked Vietnam as the safest destination for tourists in Asia and the Pacific. And I believe investors also want a stable place, a safe place to invest their money. American business are in Vietnam, have been in Vietnam, and are coming to Vietnam. We are receiving several offers, requests from American business for the past month or so to come to Vietnam. And very interestingly, because to be in charge of bilateral relations between Vietnam and the US is the Vietnamese embassy in Washington, D.C. We are here doing what we call multilateral relations at the United Nations. But still, they are approaching us. And I see this as very heartening signal of the interest by American business in Vietnam. And we are also encouraging them. Actually, as I said, apart from being a market for Vietnamese exporters, and I told you already that Vietnam is also an important market for American businesses and export as well. But another thing which is also very important, that now you mentioned China. The world business community is talking about China. But what is different from